Okay, good morning everyone and welcome to AJP theory session. Last lecture we started our discussion with what is Spring and we discussed advantages and bit about its architecture. I said Spring is supporting more than 20 module and major focus of Spring model view and controller as well. It focuses more on the modularization in terms of making the object independent, and to achieve so we are having the IOC, which is called inversion of control, which is called inversion of control, and based on that we can have the dependency injection. So today we will discuss about what is all this thing along with the complete discussion of its architecture, right? So I'm sharing my screen. Let us start it now. If you recall the last discussion, in last discussion we discuss about Spring architecture, and we talk more about in that lecture about data access and integration. And when I'm saying data access and integration, there are various ways to do so, and from that we discuss that ORM and OAM is the OXM, object XML mapping, are the things which you can do with the Spring module, Spring data access and integration module. Fine. So this was the discussion last time. Along with that, I said you that transaction support is provided in the terms of the ready-made templates and Java messaging service, which is not in your syllabus, but it is the parallel technology like your JDBC. Fine. So this was the last time's discussion. Now we are talking about the next module of Spring, which is known as the Web MVC and remoting. If you recall your unit number 1, Java networking, we said each and every application, when I say application, I'm talking about program in running condition. Each and every application is having the end point of communication, which we call socket, right? So similar way, when you are running your web application between client and server, there will be the end point of communication, which we call the socket, right? So Web MVC is talking about all those modules. There are four modules given: Web Socket, Servlet, Web, and Portlet. Fine. So these are the you can say the web modules of your Spring architecture. Fine. When I say web module provides you a way through which you can go with the web-oriented integration features, such as sometimes you want to upload a file, image upload. At that time, you are going with the multi-part file upload, which is deciding what would be the character set and how the encoding will be done and all, right? As well, there is a container. Up till now, we said when you run a servlet, you are having the and web container will take care of the life cycle management of your servlet classes. Now i'm saying that we will have in Spring the container which is known as IOC. Today we will discuss in detail what is that. But we say using the IOC container and servlet listener, you can have a web-based application in Spring environment. Along with that, we say Spring is MVC module supports the model view and controller implementation of web application, right? Where we separate the data logic, business logic, and the presentation logic. So presentation is what user sees on screen. We call it as a view. Model is the data related to your web application. So it could be the Java bin class or it could be the Pojo class. Java bin class we discuss in JSP using the action tag JSP colon use bin. We can have setting of those property using JSP colon set property, and we can read all the setter values by using JSP colon get property. So similar way we can decide our model class in the terms of Java bin class in the Spring environment. Along with that, we do have WebSocket module, which provides the support for WebSocket based two-way communication, because we are ultimately talking about client and server. And in very first unit of Java networking, we have seen how at the ground level, like how your data stream is generated and how you are talking to the logical port of this not physical port, it's a logical port over the network. Depends on the capability of operating system. If it is 32 bit, we will have 3767 port for the communication. From that, first 2000 are reserved for the applications and background processing. For example, Oracle use 1521, MySQL use 3306, email comes by default on port number 21, HTTP is having the default port 80, Tomcat is having the default port, Apache Tomcat default port is what is the default port? Those who are online, it is for HTTP. 8080. Don't you look at the URL when you run the Java application? Localhost colon 8080. XAMPP में लखेलो आवेश, right? Okay. As well, we have a new thing over here which is web portlet. So web portlet is a kind of a mirroring of your servlet. The way you have servlet for the dynamic page creation, Spring supports that in the terms of the MVC implementation as a portlet, right? So portlet almost mirrors the functionality of your web servlet module. So the way your servlet is having the life cycle and all, your portlet is also having the same thing. So it is Spring specific, which is almost mirroring. When I say mirroring, it is like almost same task it does in the Spring environment. So this was your web module. Along with that, we have core module also. So in the core container, we have core modules which supports the first one, core, bin, context, and Spring expression language. Spring expression language. So you can see over here, core is a module which provides the fundamental part of the Spring framework. And when I say fundamental part of the Spring framework, basically, as I said you in the last lecture also, that Spring focuses on loose coupling. Loose coupling means whatever objects you have in your application, it will have less dependencies among that, right? Right? Can you give me one example where two objects are dependent on each other? Can you think about any web application having two objects which are dependent on each other? Anyone? Those who are online can also answer. Have you heard about ER diagram? ER diagram, where one entity is connected to other entity. Dependency. Optional and mandatory. If it is optional, we are drawing the hollow circle. If it is mandatory, we will draw the dark circle. Can you tell me the dependencies? Anyone? Result of a student depends on the exam. So to generate the result, we need to take the exam. So exam module and result module are having the coupling or dependency. Agree? Everyone? Give me one more example. Then we'll move ahead. Dependencies among the module.
admission in college, you need to pay fees. Pay
Yeah,
fees.
exactly. Fee module and admission, or in the sense like student registration module, depends on the fees payment. If fees is paid, then registration will get done. Confirm. Admission is confirmed. So admission confirmation functionality of a student depends on the fees payment. So fee payment is one module, and student admission process is another module. So there is dependency. Fine. Okay. So what I'm saying is, I'm saying that when I'm talking about the second paragraph, the core module, the core module provides the fundamental parts of the framework, including IOC, which we will learn shortly, inversion of control, and dependency injection features. So basically, dependency injection features will talk about when you have two different objects, how the dependencies could be represented using the code. Fine. Along with that, we have the bin module, which provides the bin factory. Bin are the backbones of a Spring, and when I say bin, I'm talking about lighter weighted Java classes, which is having only getter setter method and data related to that object. So to achieve or to access it, we need an object or class. So that class is represented in bin module as bin factory. Fine. As well, we do have the context module, which provides a solid foundation provided by core and bin together, and that's the way you will access the object which are defined and configured inside your bin module, because ultimately you are talking about all the data or all the objects which are revolving around your application. Fine. And we have learned expression language in JSP. How we were representing it? Expression language in JSP was dollar.
Dollar sign. Yeah, curly braces.
Exactly. Janvi is saying it was dollar curly braces. Over here, we have expression language, but we will write it in a hash curly braces, the way we wrote in the. No, we have not learned it, but we will learn it. JSF, I guess we started it. Do you recall that? JSF, I discuss what is the importance of expression language, and I discuss one advantage, that in Java, when string is not presented, it throws the null pointer exception, but if you are using the expression language, it will be not treated as a null pointer exception, and apart from that, it will treat it as empty string. That was the advantage which we discussed in JSF, last point of the last extra lecture. So Spring provides the expression language, which is powerful medium to access the properties of your bin, and we'll see how. Right? As well, you can see we are saying that Spring is a very powerful language for querying and manipulating an object graph. Object graph. Do you recall semester 3 data structures, where we learn that there could be tree and graph representation? Last line says about that. Graph, object graph. So basically, we're talking about the data structure where your objects are held in the memory, right? So when you're using the expression language, it will provide you the easy access. Fine. Let us go further and discuss about the miscellaneous module. Miscellaneous module is providing you some important features or modules of your Spring, such as AOP, aspect oriented programming, which is a kind of the uh, complement to your object oriented programming. It's like how differently we see the program, because now we are talking about the modules, so we will see the object as an aspect, and we will have the cut point and join point, and before advice we will have various advices and all to learn those the programming way how you can implement. So Spring allows you to do so. We will have method interceptors and point cuts to have the Okay, so you can look at that. We will have a separate point of like entire discussion about the aspect oriented programming. So we have aspect module along with the aspect oriented programming, which allows you to have the integration with aspect J. So aspect J is again a way how you will design, because you see when you say C, you are saying it is procedure oriented programming. When you say C++ and Java, you are saying it is object oriented programming. Both are doing the programming, but how you write the code differs, right? So similar way, we are saying in order or in additional to your object oriented programming, we have aspect oriented programming, and for that we have more mature framework which is known as aspect J. So Spring supports that also. Fine. As well, we have instrumentation module, which provides the support for making your class available in the memory. So we call it as a class loader implementation to be used with certain application servers. Along with that, when we have a client server system, we need to pass the messages, because your data is saved inside the object, and those objects data need to be passed from one module to another module, at times in the remote place also, right? So to do so, we have the messaging module. In messaging module, Spring supports STOMP. This is a protocol. This is the protocol, we call it as a storm, streaming text oriented message protocol. The way you have HTTP, similar way to pass the messages you have Storm, right? So it will be treated as a sub protocol of your web socket. So it's not the main protocol, because ultimately we are working with the web application and HTTP is the main protocol. But along with the HTTP, when you want to pass the messages, you can use the Storm as a sub protocol. Fine? Fine? We are using it because Stomp also supports the programming model. That is the reason why it is being used. Fine. As well, it is having the functionality to use annotations based or annotation programming model for routing and processing the messages in the client side. Right? We know that when we send a message from one machine to another machine, some, or from, let us consider, from your WhatsApp to my WhatsApp, we are passing a message, and it will have some route through the routers or routers. You call it routers, right? Root or routers, you can say. So we'll have certain router related things provided by Stomp, and we can use it. Guys, hang on, my mobile is giving me some buzz. I'm rejoining. Along with that, we have last module. We are talking about core module right now, and if you look at the diagram, the last module is the taste, right? We talk about the core container, bins, core, context, and SPL. Then we talk about the miscellaneous, AOP, aspects, instrumentation, and messaging. And look at the last one, which is taste. Each and every software must have the good tasting. When you are tasting a project, it will strengthen your project in terms of checking whether the implementation has been done as per the demand or not, right? As well, to do the testing, we required various type of testing, which we discussed, I guess, in last session. We talk about the unit testing. No, we haven't. So maybe the other class. Okay. When I have a software, right? At that time, what happens is I can have the functionality. For example, college management system, as Aziz said, admission confirmation or registration of student depends on the fees, right? As well, I said result of the student depends on the exam given, right? So there are dependencies. Now, when we develop this, as we said that Spring supports a modularization, right? Because of the modularization, what we will do is what we will do is we will divide the entire project into the modules. So if you look at this as a college project, you will say student is a module. We will give the registration, we will give the exam, we will pay the fees, and we will have the result, right? Each and every student is having the feature. So we have another module which is P module, another module which is exam module, and another module which is result module. Fine. Now you think about all of this. In a company, in a software company, all these modules will be developed separately. It will be developed separately because you work in a team in the IT industry. Fine. So each and every module need to be have tested individually, whether the functionality is as per demand or not, because your client will give you the project. So what client wants, whether you have done it as per that or not. So for that we do have the testing, which is we call unit testing. Unit testing is developing a module and testing it individually. Once the individual modules are working fine, you can connect them together. For example, registration and fees are dependent, so you need to have the connection between those two modules. Result and exams are connected, so you need to have the testing of that module. So we do have integration testing, right? Right? As well, it's the website. So we do the load testing. How many and requests your website can handle. This happens in the industry. As well, we go with the black box testing, where random input is given. For example, we know that name should be always other than the special characters and numbers. It should not be given as a name of the user. My name cannot be 123, or my name could not be has question mark 123, right? So we need to do the testing. So random inputs will be given when you are doing the black box testing, right? Blindly you are giving the input. So that's black box testing to check whether the software is robust enough or not. Another one is white box testing. And white box testing happens by giving the appropriate input and to check whether it's working as per expectation or not. For example, after registration, it should give me the message you are registered, and it has to redirect me to the login page. Right? It should allow me to do the login. And when I enter the correct input, it should take me to the dashboard. So this is white box testing, where we are checking whether it's as per the expectation or not. Fine. So there are various testing which happens when you develop a software, and testing itself is a big industry in IT. When people do not want to do the programming, they go with the testing. I guess I told you about Heman Mehta, right? Our student. He's into the testing. They are using some Java based framework to do the testing. Fine. So what I'm saying over here is, in Spring MVC, the last module is taste. Is taste. Fine. And to do so, there are various frameworks. From that, Spring supports many frameworks, and right now we say there are various framework components such as JUnit and TestNG. JUnit or TestNG. These are the frameworks for testing the Java project. So it is provided in your Spring. You can have those components in your project, and you can test whether your project is working as per the expectation or not. There are various frameworks for testing. From that, Test NG and JUnit is a kind of few example. Fine. So Spring allows you to have the integration of such modules, such frameworks. Is it clear? Is it clear, everybody? Right? So this is about your architecture of Spring. Anyone having any doubt or any question up till now? Is it clear? Those who are online. Should I move forward? Okay. Now we are talking about IOC container. Before I go to the IOC container, if you recall your mid one, you had a question in your mid. You recall that? What is web container? Was that the question in your mail? બે ક્વેશ્ચન હતા એમાંથી ઓલમોસ્ટ બધાએ બેમાં સરખા આન્સર આપ્યા છે અને એટલે મેં માર્ક્સ કાપ્યા છે. રાઈટ એવરીવન? એકમાં ડેફિનેશન હતી, એકમાં એપ્લિકેશન હતી અને બે આમ ઓવરલેપિંગ આન્સર બધાએ લખ્યા છે. રાઈટ? ઓકે, વોટ ઇઝ વેબ કન્ટેનર? What is web container? We learn in Savlet. What is web container? Those who are online, please get involved in the discussion. Yes, everyone, what is web container? What is web container? Yeah, Janvi, tell me what is web container?
Container is responsible for mapping the life cycle of servlet, mapping a URL to particular servlet, and ensuring that the URL request has correct or not.
This is the application, right? What is the definition? It manages the life cycle, it creates the object, it takes care of mapping it to correct resource. Fine. But when I say web container, ultimately what happens is when you write any functionality in the terms of program and when you execute it, basically you are talking at the ground level. Your operating system is involved. So what we say is higher level programming component and lower level platform specific functionality. We need to have the communication between them. So it is done by the web container. So basically web container is an interface between higher level programming component and platform specific functionality. Right? I'm repeating again. Web container is an interface which provides the facility to connect your higher level programming component with the platform specific functionality. In Servlet, we had web container. In JSP, to manage the JSP lifecycle and do the resource mapping, we called, now onwards, we will call it as JSP container. Right? Servlet, web container, JSP container. Now I'm saying for Spring, we will have IOC container, inversion of control. Right? For Spring, we will have IOC container. So as Janvi said, the lifecycle management and object and all, that's what your container will do. So the responsibility of your IOC container is, this is the core module or the core thing which is there in your Spring framework, because modularization achieved through the loose coupling, and loose coupling is achieved through DI, dependency injection, and your Spring provides the implementation of DI. So what we have is the container will create objects, wire them together. As I said, result depends on the exam. Registration depends on fee payment. So this is wiring two objects together, connecting them, right? So it wire the objects together, configure them, manage their complete life cycle from creation till destruction. When object is no more needed, we should destroy that object. Fine. So all this task in Spring is done by the Spring container. Spring container uses the dependency injection, we call it as a DI, to manage the component and to make up an application and to manage the objects, which we call the Spring bins. Spring bins. Basically, Spring bins are the lighter weighted Java classes having getter and setter methods. Fine. So look at the diagram. What it will do, your Spring container takes the POJOs. Java Pojo classes. Java Pojo classes are the classes with getter and setter method and constructor. And it accepts the metadata. Metadata is data about data. Usually it is represented through the XML files, right? So it will tell you how the behavior of that particular Pojo will be, or how one object is wired together with the other object. And together it will be given to the Spring container, and ultimately Spring will map all this together along with the lifecycle method, object creation and destructions, and finally we will have application which is ready to use. Fine. Up till now, any doubt, any question? If somebody asks you what is Spring, what is IOC container, list out the applications. You need to write this. Okay. Fine. Should I move forward? Kirtan, Nancy, Nancy, right? Should I move forward? Tanzil, Aziz, okay. Online students, should I move forward? Waiting for your acknowledgement. Okay. So, when I say IOC container, Spring provides two different major containers for this task. Right? There are two different containers. The first one is Spring bin factory container, and the second one is Spring application context container. Right? In exam, people may ask you, what are the types of container Spring supports? IOC containers comes in the two different types or distinct types. We call it as a Spring bin factory container and Spring application context container. When I say Spring bin factory container, this is the simplest one, which provides support for dependency injection, and this is defined in, because this is somehow, when I say IOC container and all, we are talking about Spring container and all, we are talking about the software component. So there is an interface which is named as bin factory, right? And it is given inside your org.springframework.bins.factory.bin Can you read out the second line of the first paragraph? It is defined by org.springframework.bins.factory.bin interface. The bin factory and related interfaces, such as when we have bin class, basically you need to initialize it, you need to destroy it and all. So this class, this interface, the bin interface and related interface, we have various interfaces such as bin factory aware, initializing bin, disposal bin, right? All these are available with the backward compatibility with the large number of third-party frameworks to be integrated with the Spring. Because we say the Spring is a framework of frameworks, and if it is a framework of frameworks, there should be some backward compatibility among the other frameworks. So your Spring bin factory container is the simplest one, which provides this. Fine. All these is theory, don't worry about it. You have to read and you have to remember. Fine. The second container is Spring application context container. This is adding the enterprise specific functionality. When I say enterprise specific functionality, we are talking about entire application context. Context is the boundary or the capability of an project. When I say context, we have to be clear what your application can do and what it cannot do. That's called the context. Right? So when I'm saying Spring application context container, Spring is for J2EE applications, and when it is something called enterprise specific applications, at that time we are talking about distributed nature of your application. We have remoting, One component may be in one server, another component may be in another server, and we are trying to communicate all of them together. Fine. Very simple example. When we use Bewakoof.com example in last chapter, JSP, what we did is I have logged in through Google API, right? So application context container does what? It resolves the textual message from the properties file, and it allows you to have the ability to publish application events in the interested event listener. When you log in, and you click on a login button, you are generating an event. And when you are generating an event, there should be some event listener who will react to that event. Fine. So your Spring application container provides that, and this facility is available in application context interface. So application context itself is an interface. So mind well, as I told you, IOCs are the software component, containers are the software component. So we are saying bin factory is an interface and application context is also an interface. These are the two different containers which Spring supports. In examination, you may have question like explain Spring containers. You should write this too. Okay, you should write this too. Up till now, anyone having any doubt or question? Should I move further? Okay. Now we're talking about inversion of control and dependency injection. So as I told you that there are design patterns, and I said you that MVC in last lecture, I guess last to last, we discussed about object-oriented analysis and design, and I said there are some common solution for the common problems. For example, Redbus.com, Zomato, Book My Show, ultimately all are booking system. Redbus or IRCTC or for state transportation, Gujarat government state transportation, that is GSRTC, right? For all of them, we have kind of a similar nature of the problem. So there could be this common solution for these common problems, which could be represented as a design pattern. So IOC, DI, MVC, all these are the design patterns. So design patterns informs the developer what is the best way to implement that particular functionality. Using that pattern, when I say pattern, specifically it specifies where your software components could be placed, right? So based on those design patterns, we design our software, right? So these are the IOC and DI are the design patterns that are used to remove the dependencies. There's different purpose of each and every design pattern. Specifically, MVC is having the purpose to separate the business logic, data logic, and presentation logic. But when I say DI, that is dependency injection, and IOC, inversion of control, the major purpose is to remove the dependencies from the programming code. Right? Getting? Right? So when we have less dependencies among the module, as I've shown you, the testing is about testing each and every functionality. If your dependencies among the module, you have kept simple or easier at that time. If the dependency is less, we could test the application in a easier method. As well, if we look at from the maintenance point of view, maintenance is about improving certain functionality. When you are improving certain functionality after deployment of the project, once you have given project to your client, right, and client has used it for 5 years, and now client is asking to add a certain functionality or to have improvement in few of the area of the developed software, that's called the maintenance. So if you are having less dependencies among the module, the maintenance will be easy. Otherwise, if the code is tightly coupled, tightly coupled means dependency is high. If the dependency is high, it will take the more time to have the maintenance and testing of your software. Look at the code. We're trying to understand what is tight coupling. In any company, we will have employee. So we are creating a class employee, right? Class employee. And we are creating the object address because each and every employee will have the address. So we are saying address, we created an object address, and you see here, employee is my default constructor. This is my default constructor. In the second line, address, I have just declared the object. I have just declared the object. And now I am saying address is equal to new address. This is called instantiation. Instantiation means giving a value to the object or assigning the memory to the object. We know that new is the operator. Have you learned in C? New and delete are operator for the memory assignment and memory, we call memory allocation and deallocation operator in C++. New will be called implicitly by your constructor when you create an object. And when your object lifetime is getting end, destructor will be invoked automatically, which is using the delete operator to free the memory allocated by that particular object. Now I'm saying that when I write this code, you think about the dependency. Suppose object creation of employee gets failed. Are you getting the point? Instantiation. In the starting of the AJP session, in very early sessions, I explained the three terms, that is class. I said it holds the data members and methods related to that. Object, I said it's a variable of class type. And I said instance, when object is having the value, we call it as instance. So giving value to the object is called instantiation. I am saying that if my employee object is getting instantiated or object is being created, suppose this constructor is getting failed, we are not able to create the object because of some dependency or some issues. In that case, the creation of address object will also fail because we have returned it inside the constructor of employee, right? So you see the dependency between the object or module employee and the module address is high, right? Suppose in a class employee there would be 5 different functionalities, and to access all those 5 functionalities we need the object. Similar way, address related functionality, to use it you need the object. But if the creation of employee module or employee object fails, the creation or instantiation of address will also fail. So this is called tight coupling, right? When dependencies among the module is high, we call it as a tight coupling. Are you clear with what is tight coupling, right? Tight coupling is not good. Why? Because testing and maintenance will be hard. Because of that, there should be less dependencies among the module. Next session, we will learn how IOC and DI helps us to apply the loose coupling among the modules. Up till now, we have just defined the problem, right? Clear? Any technical doubt or query up till now? Any one of you? Then you can raise your query. Those who are online. Any doubt, any query? What we discussed today? We discussed about the miscellaneous module and web module and core container module of Spring architecture. Along with that, we discussed what is IOC container, and we defined that there are 2 distinct types of container available in Spring framework. We call it as a Spring bin factory container and Spring application context container. Along with that, we defined how we can go with the tight coupling of the code where dependency is high, and we said it's not good because of it will create the difficulties in testing and maintenance of the software, right? Next lecture, we will be discussing about what is inversion of control, how it can be used to make the loose coupling among the code, and what are the 2 ways to apply the DI in your code. Fine. So this will be the as well. If time permits, next time we will discuss about Spring MVC also. Fine. So that's it from my end. I'm closing the session today. Any technical doubt? Anyone? Those who are online and those who are presented here. Are you getting today's session? Yes or no? Okay.